Hello and welcome to another episode of the Pod Pill Basket here at the Basketball Wales YouTube channel. Today I'm joined by my co-coms at last year's BWNL Finals, Sion Parry. Sion, how are you doing?
Hey Dab, yeah, great, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I've been excited to do this. We've been trying to do this for an awfully long time. It's just been difficult to get our schedules to mix up. I'm really glad we're finally doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump straight into it. Some of our viewers, of course, might be unfamiliar with you, other than perhaps that one finals matchup. So, can you just give us a little bit of an introduction as to what you do here in Hollyhead, what you do in basketball, and your kind of basketball journey?
I'm the head coach of the Ynys Môn Celts, right up in the northwest corner of Wales. Hollyhead near in Anglesey. I've been involved in the game for a long time now. I've been North Wales head coach, school basketball. A lot of people know me through that. Been a teacher for 19 years and been the chairman of school basketball. I've run all the competitions up here, and like I said, I've done it down South Wales as well. I've been part of the national team for probably about 10 years ago now, 2013. So people know me through that, and then people know me through playing. If they're at a certain age, if they're around sort of my age, there we've sort of played all the way across North Wales and into Cheshire Phoenix, or Chester Jets as it was then. People know me through different ways, through school basketball, through club basketball, or playing basketball. But usually, North Wales and Sion Parry basketball come hand in hand. Yeah.
That's great. So, what do you prefer? So, you're coaching now. You used to do a bit of playing. So, do you have a preference?
I mean, I'd love to play still, but I'm getting a bit old now,
Right, the body's giving up.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on getting my knee back and just be able to play and break into sweats. But I don't know. It's tough to try and fit it all in. Sometimes when I focus more on playing, the coaching side of things drops. So it's a balancing act.
Right. Okay.
It was easier to do when you're younger, but now
of course,
I think it's more
everything
coaching.
is.
Yeah, it's more coaching than playing these days.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it a different satisfaction that you get, like when that final buzzer goes and you've got the win and it's a big game? Is it a different satisfaction you get as a coach than when you're a player? Because I always think players kind of go crazy, and other than the odd occasion where the coach goes wild, it's the kind of thing where the coach always has to stay measured. And is it a different level of satisfaction playing it?
Yeah, it's different. It is different, without doubt. You're right. I think coaching is a long-term satisfaction. For me, the wins is good, but it's really seeing a culture develop. It's really seeing a program build, and you see ultimately see players improve in basketball and then as people.
Right.
So it's just a long-term step back and watch it grow. So it's not a huge emotional a thing like as a player, maybe.
Okay.
You do get the highs and lows of coaching, and winning and losing, but it's really the long-term project, and seeing things develop.
I got you. So it's a different thing altogether. You're thinking about the season or even past there sometimes. That's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you seem to have had quite a bit of growth up in Hollyhead. Not just this year, but over the past couple of years. But it seems like it's coming to fruition a little this year. What do you think is going on in Hollyhead to kind of push that? Or is it actually social media and is people outside starting to take a bit more notice?
Well, first of all, it's not something new that's happened in Hollyhead and basketball. Basketball's been played in Hollyhead for well over 30 years now. I was a player, joined the club at 12 years old. Tony Roberts was my head coach. He was in basketball for a long time. There's been thousands of players, literally thousands of players that come through Hollyhead Leisure Centre to play basketball in that area. Notably, and he's a little bit of a myth, maybe down in South Wales, but Adam Williams is be the best unmarked talent in Wales history. He's played BBL and he's still playing in France now. He's got a 20-year professional career. I think he did about 10 years with the BBL teams. He's got the
Mm.
high school scoring record in upstate New York in a high school there.
Wow.
Played
Unbelievable.
in with in a basketball academy in Durham with Bob Martin.
Mm.
And he played a host of BBL teams, and then played in France professionally. Yeah, outstanding player. His schedule never fit with the national team schedule.
It's
South
just
Wales
unbelievable when you think about that.
Yeah, well, it's just it's where basketball was maybe 20 years ago to
Right.
where it is now. I think he would have been involved in the team heavily now, but training was
Mm.
happening at the same time. He was in national BBL finals, and he'd had to travel 6 hours to
Bonkers.
training and everything else. But yeah, Adam Williams is a top player, and he's come through. He's a great friend of mine, and was played in the same team as me and Hollyhead. So we that club's been going for a long time. We played National League,
Right.
under 23s, under 19s in England, etc. Used to play teams from Ireland. It's only it's a stone throw away across the Irish Sea there. But
Yeah, of course.
Tony did a remarkable job. To be fair to him, he trained people hard. He made a good culture in the club. He brought great people down for summer camps, which is something I try and do now often. So we had people like Martin Clark,
Okay.
White, Bob Martin, Alan Bannister. Alan Bannister, 7'4", ex-NBA player. Martin White, Boston College. Joe White is the legend out in London.
Legends.
And Bob Martin, leading scorer in Britain and in France. Still an absolute scoring machine at the age of 60 with the way he shoots. And all these guys come down and coach us. We used to have Hackney, Joe White's team, come down to play us. They used to come from London on the train from Euston straight to Hollyhead, one straight through train. And the players that they had were Olu Babalola, GB player, Andy Sullivan, basketball GB captain. These guys used to come down to little old Hollyhead.
Oh my goodness, what development that must have given you.
Yeah, the first time we played them, they probably beat us by 80, 90 points. But
yeah, of course.
they were the sort of top team in London. And then we'd play them again. We'd play them like 3 times over the weekend, and we'd chip away at that result. And then we'd play them a year later. And these guys were stars and turned out to be GB stars, but it made us into a real basketball team, and then that's what made us good. And in fact, we were Welsh school champions, Hollyhead, because we all came from the same school. We won it.
Wow.
We won it a silly amount of times, really, in the 1990s. Hollyhead school, Andy down there in South Wales, who was running it at the time, Andy Brown, he'll probably remember the Hollyhead school teams.
I bet you will if you won it every year.
Well, we were there or thereabouts every year for a long time, and we did win it quite a few times. It's good memories, some good experiences, but we had some great players there. And Alan Bannister, we mentioned him, 7'4". He then came and worked with us in Anglesey, so he was the basketball.
Oh, really?
Officer. Yeah.
Wow.
5 or more years, and all these people, these amazing, inspiring people. I just tried to soak it up. I just tried to soak up everyone's experiences. I used to listen in to every story, every experience, every scenario. I worked with Alan while I was sort of finishing off my A-levels. I was assistant coaching, going around all the schools and learning from him. Like I said, I learned so much from Tony as well, and everyone who came down to play us or to do the camp. So it really put me in good stead. And then when I was up in, when I was up in Chester, so I went there for uni, but I was also heavily. Every year, I had a big goal of mine is to win the Chester Jets basketball camp that they did with Mike Burton. So Mike Burton did a basketball camp every year. Winning prize, MVP, was a trip to America to 5-star basketball camp.
Oh, yeah.
That's something goal of mine. I think I came runner-up one year, which was great. But
I'm so sorry, Sean.
Hey,
No, of course.
That wasn't a an issue. There were some great players there, but it just meant that I was competing
Yeah.
with those guys. And then anyway,
Yeah. In itself.
What happened from there is Mike Burton approached me to play for the Chester Jets. So
Right. Wow.
at the time, they were the best team in the country. They just won all four titles around the sort of early 2000 mark. Robbie Pearce, the coach, and the players they had were
Wow.
phenomenal. Some old veteran basketball junkies will know the names of these guys, but I mean, I don't want to miss anyone out. But we had, first of all, you've got to go with Piero Cameron. I mean, Piero was
Oh, wow. Of course.
Piero. I mean, I think I signed in 2002, and he was in the middle
Right.
of playing in the FIBA World Cup in Indianapolis.
Oh, my goodness.
So he was playing for New Zealand against USA. I mean,
Yeah.
USA had a team 2002 which didn't win, a bit similar to where we are at the moment with US basketball. They had some players. I think they had Reggie Miller.
But that led to the Redeem team. Let's remember that led to
Well,
some big things for the US team.
Yeah, so that 2002 was a real disaster, to be honest. And New Zealand, they had a fantastic tournament with Piero leading the way. I mean, it was a good 20 years ago now, so I hope I get my facts right. But there was the
I think you're right.
All tournament team. You're starting five for the whole tournament.
Yeah.
The team was Yao Ming, a centre. Guards were Stojakovic and Manu Ginobili. And then
it's not bad.
Forward was Dirk Nowitzki, and small forward was Piero Cameron. He was picked out of the whole.
Wow,
tournament.
what an honour!
Yeah, and then he comes and he's in the middle of, comes back and plays with Chester Jets
in Cheshire.
Yeah, so I mean we had Piero. He's now the head coach of the New Zealand basketball team. Great guy.
Yeah.
Someone I've spoken to a few times through social media and just a few general conversations. But he's someone I just wanted to hang off every word he said. I wanted to listen. I wanted to learn.
I bet.
To improve. Any chance he could tell me, show me moves, etc., I would be all ears. And he was just one of many. I mean, we had James Hamilton. James Hamilton, great guy. He came to do the basketball camp I had over in Northwest Wales just this summer. So we had
really?
have a catch up, and a great guy.
Oh, I bet that was nice.
He was the captain of our team. He's probably one of the best Americans ever to come over to this country. NCAA Elite Eight player. I think he signed a 10-day contract with the Phoenix Suns.
Serious.
Very, very respected guy. We had Mookie Thomas, point guard, who's like high school rival with Stephon Marbury. He was the guy I had to mark every day.
Oh my goodness!
Just like
you were a bit of an easier matchup than Marbury, shall we say that?
Oh yeah. We'll
ever so slightly.
Yeah, we can go with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Who else do we have in there? I mean, we had Kenny Gregory. Now, Kenny Gregory, listen to this for a story. I'm gonna work out the year now. 1997, I think it would have been. He was the MVP of the All-American McDonald's basketball game, which is the best high school players in America. So
it's a big deal.
In that tournament, in that All-Star game, if you like, Tracy McGrady, Ron Artest, Byron Davis, and it was Kenny Gregory got MVP. We had Shaheem Holloway. He came in for a few months. He did the same. He was MVP the 96 All-American McDonald's game. He was in that game.
Okay, a little connection there.
Yeah. In that game was Kobe Bryant, Rick Hamilton, Jermaine O'Neal, and Shaheem Holloway was the MVP. These guys are like serious talent. They're phenomenal players. And that's how younger players need to realise there is such a bank of players out there. And to get into the NBA, you have to be so talented, but there's just so many people waiting on the wings to get in there as well. So you have to have a bit of luck. You have to have something unique about you. You have to be amazing defender, amazing shooter, etc.
There's 400 jobs.
400 jobs, and there's probably
That's the NBA.
400,000 people, in America dreaming for those jobs. So, yeah, it's great.
And
I
the
don't
rest.
want to miss anyone out now that I started listing people. I mean,
No. It's fine. I'm sure they'll forgive you.
yeah, well, we had Calvin Davis, brilliant, absolute superstar. Sean Myers, unbelievable player, a veteran of the league. Billy Singleton, John
Right.
McCord. John McCord was just phenomenal. Todd Cawthorn. I mean, all these guys were just special. And I'm playing with
Serious.
those day in, day out. I'll be honest. I
Wow.
knew
What an
I
experience.
was never going to be competing with for their minutes or their time. They took the time,
Oh, Sean.
but I learned from that, and it made me. And I always thought I was a decent player, but I always knew I was going to be a better coach. So I took those
Oh,
experiences. I
interesting.
loved every minute of it, and then so went into teaching with the idea that I was
Right.
always going to have a basketball specialist part to my job and
Okay.
outside of teaching. And yeah, I've done teaching now for 19 years. PE teacher, worked in England for two. I went back to Wales, back to Northwest Wales, and was a head of PE in a tiny little school in Bangor called St Gerard's. And that's where I
Okay.
sort of really sort of tried to establish let basketball grow in the area, because it was played in Hollyhead for so long. Alan Bannister was coming to leaving the area just as I was starting back
Right.
in St Gerard's when I moved back. Tony
Big
carried on
shoes to
for
fill.
a few more years, and then retired from his coaching. So I sort of basically developed basketball now at St Gerard's. I'll try and explain how big the school is. I was talking to
Okay.
James Morgan, who was coaching his Mold Magic
Yeah.
with Mold Allen at the time, and we were playing a game, and I go, yeah, we're only quite small at basketball, really. We've only got um, 10 boys in a year. And he goes, oh, that's how many we have. We have about 10 basketball players in each year as well. I went, no, we've got 10 boys.
10
There's
boys. Oh,
10 boys. Yeah, we had about somewhere between 8 and 15 boys in
wow.
each year. Tiny little private school. But I
Wow.
taught them from about 4 years old. Kids there all the way up to
Right.
18. So we started building their basketball skills.
Oh, my goodness. You could
Really,
impact them
yeah.
so hugely.
So I
Wow.
mean, some joined
Private
after
schools, man.
primary school. Some joined in year 7, etc. But the kids didn't
Right.
really realise in primary school. But I had throwdown spots. They were jumping, going left, right, and jumping up and clapping my hand. They were going jumping right, left, and jumping and clapping the hands. They were
Oh, my goodness.
every warm up. They were dribbling balls and doing all moves,
Right.
which were going to give their physical literacy and it's going to help in all their sports. But
No, of
really,
course.
it was gonna help them with their basketball. So we were always a
Wow.
tiny, we were always a tiny team in height and speed, and we were the least athletic team in more times than not. But over the
It
years,
seems
they
to be the
built.
Wales with Wales,
Yeah, the idea is what you have
unfortunately.
to do is you have to just teach them the right way, and just make sure that you're relentless on the techniques and completely stopping, correcting, reinforcing, encouraging, and over the years we ended up doing great. We got to, in the 9 years I was there, we got to the Welsh finals, I think seven times out of the 9 years. We
Wowzer.
got, yeah, you top two from North play top two from South. But what we were able to do, which was pleasing, because it doesn't always happen, is that our team competed with the South Wales teams more often than not. We
Yeah.
we lost so that was the final fours. When we won the first round semi-finals and got to the finals, I think a good few times out of those 7 years, twice I was 1 point away from winning the Welsh the finals
No.
with
Oh, Sean.
just as tight with just tiny school. We're playing like Cardiff High, 3,000 kids against our
Yeah.
150 kids in the whole school. And that's
Oh,
from the primary
gosh.
school and secondary school combined. So we did great. And what was great is because I tried to teach them the right way, and we weren't relying on athleticism.
Okay.
They grew and ended up, catching up lots of
Yeah,
times
physically.
physically with the others. And then that's
Right.
why these guys are still involved in the game now. They're all in their 20s now, and I've taught them all. and they all play for the Celts men's team. So if you look at that Celts men's team now that play in the
fantastic.
National League, we were in the Island Games, which I'd like to touch on maybe a bit later. But the Island Games,
no
great
problem.
competition. There was, I think, out of the 10 players that we had, maybe 8 of them were all my ex-students in St. Gerard's.
No way.
So that
what an
was
impact you've had.
Yeah, and we were playing against we played the Faroe Islands, who when we played them, so it was their their whole country. They had their live television filming the game. They had the commentators. They won, and they were cheering and clapping and made up that they won in the Island Games against us, which was disappointing for us. But at the same time,
you're going up against the nation.
We came up against the country. We only lost by a few points, and I think in 2 years' time when we play them again, we're gonna get them. We're gonna beat them. But
okay,
we've got to be proud of ourselves, really. We are a little area. I mean, Wales itself is only small, but I think the town of Hollyhead is 11,000, maybe. I forget now.
11,
15,000 people. So it's a small area.
That's impressive.
We played Bridgend the other day. Great competitive game. Unfortunately, I couldn't get there, but I've got to a point now in the club where I can oversee everything, and I've got great guys, great coaches playing. We went down there with 5 players and 2 under-18s, and we snuck a win over there in DSAT
fantastic
in Bridgend. In a great atmosphere with a really good team. So yeah, we're there. We're trying to compete with the big boys. It's not always easy. I mean, the Cardiff teams are very, very, very strong, but we're
can't help that, unfortunately.
And Ronda obviously as well. And there's
Ronda
we haven't played yet. And we always know Mold's a good, strong team, and we've competed. So but we've been there. We got to the plate final in our first year. We got ahead of that. We came to the semi-finals last year. I think we got knocked out by who would have we got knocked out by in last semi-finals? It must have been Ronda that beat us last year.
The Gladiators.
The Gladiators, yeah, RCT. So yeah, we just love to be able to compete. We're so far out actually that it's hard for us to compete in the North Wales League. Those games on a the North Wales League. Every other team northeast, like very northeast, Wrexham.
Gotcha. So the actual geography of it.
Yeah, and
interesting.
We've got like games on a Tuesday night, Wednesday night. Our guys work. We might play a game. By the time we played a game, had a shower and gone home, we're getting home at 2:00 in the morning and then working the next day.
Oh gosh,
we love this Basketball Wales National League. It means less games, but every game is really competitive, and they're on a weekend, which suits us. I'm not saying it suits everyone, but it suits us. If we live 10 minutes down the road from other teams, it makes sense to play during.
Then you might want them more. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
But, so that's great. That's how, and then we use it as this base to make sure we're competing against good teams because of the Island Games. So the Island Games is a worldwide competition. It's for small islands around the world. So I think it's done with population size. Anglesey is 70.
Okay, I've never heard of it. It sounds really interesting.
Yeah, you've got to watch it. It's pretty cool. And it's going to be in Anglesey coming up. So so basically,
no way.
Yeah, so we really want support from Wales to do that. It's going to be 2025 in about 18 months, and then it's going to be 2027. So small islands all around the world compete in a mini Olympics, opening ceremony, multiple sports competitions going on. It's for over around a week, and then there's a closing ceremony. There's gold medals, silver medals, bronze medals to be won.
Wow! If you need a commentator, you know where to find me.
Hey man, I've already got you down here on the list. I really
all right, good man.
Yeah, it's like I forget now. I think it's 100, maybe 150,000 is like the population and size of the island. But we've got teams like Bermuda, Faroe Islands.
Wow.
Saaremaa, which is an island between Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. You've
Gotcha.
got Cayman Islands. You've got Menorca. You've got Isle of Man, Guernsey, Jersey, Isle of Wight. They're the sort of teams that are competing. So they do it swimming,
Right.
athletics, football, but basketball is
Interesting.
got to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, sport there. And it's such a great sport, as we know. It's easy to watch and exciting. So
It's as entertaining as sport gets. I think
Yeah.
that's undeniable about basketball.
Yeah, exactly. So we were in Guernsey. We were just in Guernsey this summer, and we
Right.
competed there. We played Saaremaa. We hadn't been in this competition, by the way, for 16 years. I used to play in
Okay.
it when
So
I
you're
was,
back in.
yeah. So I played in it when I was in my 20s. Adam Williams played in there. Adam's brother Neil,
Right.
a host of other great players from the area, and we used to compete in there. We did 3 island games, and we were always sort of I don't think we ever lost as a British the only
Wow.
British island in that time. I mean, but there were still some great players. Anyway, we
Yeah.
came back and we played Saaremaa. Saaremaa had 2 Estonian national team players. 2 players that played for Tallinn in their capital as a professionals. And we've got our Celts team, and then also who can represent us from family, and because he's from North Wales as well, is Johan Nixon.
Oh,
So,
no way.
So Johan is our centre, our big man, and
That'd be nice.
We were desperate for Adam to play as well. But he'd injured
Right.
himself in the weeks before playing in France.
Okay.
So he gave up his place for a youngster that's playing here, our under 18s player.
Oh, how nice.
Oshan Buckland. So if we'd had Adam, it would have really helped. Johan was a big jab in our arm for a boost. But then apart from that, it was our Celts players, and we played Saaremaa, who got the gold eventually. And we just had a real culture shock, really. But I think we lost by 30, but they did that to most teams.
Right.
And we played, like I said, Faroe Islands, the Isle of Wight, and we were close to getting out of our group stage. If you got out of your group stage, you would end up playing for the bronze medal. Well, if you got top,
I
you
see.
would end up Saaremaa got top in our group, and they went and played for the gold. If you came second, you played the
Gotcha.
other group, and we played Cayman Islands. So Cayman Islands have got fantastic athletes.
Yeah, but they break in FFP, surely.
What's that? Sorry.
I mean, it's the Cayman Islands. The Cayman Islands, surely they break in FFP.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Well,
if anyone's doing it.
they've been going to this since I was there, and it was the same coach who does it.
No way.
And he's since when I played, they were great athletes. They got the bronze. Menorca got the silver. But yeah,
Okay.
So in 2025, we are in the middle
Yeah.
now of pitching
Right.
to local businesses. We're pitching in to the Sports Council. We're pitching into the MP
Yep.
of Anglesey, and we've looked like we've got it secured. We still need a few more sponsors and a bit more donation because it's expensive to do a tournament like this. But we're going to get
Of course.
300 athletes, we reckon, going to come over to Anglesey in the summer of 2025.
Wow.
We're going to have a women's competition and men's, and it's going to be just unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
For the Anglesey, Gwynedd, Conway, and the whole of North Wales and even South Wales. We're going to stream all the games. The competition's going to be extremely high. These players are going to be staying in hotels and going around the town and
Wow.
we're going to hopefully get them into schools and create a buzz.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's going to inspire a lot more
Wow.
youngsters to carry on playing this game of basketball in this area and see some high level basketball being played on the Isle of Anglesey.
That sounds absolutely fantastic. I can't believe I've never heard of this tournament, but it sounds like it could have an impact just economically on the entire area. If you bring in that kind of excitement, that kind of buzz, these kind of people over, they're probably going to end up giving it a little boost.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that's just 2025. So 2025 is a basketball only version.
I see.
The reason why is because 2025 the Island Games is in Orkney, but they don't
I
play
see.
basketball there, and they don't have the facilities to hold it. So the rest of the
All right, they're
island,
not going to build.
yeah, the
Gotcha.
swimming, the football, the athletics, the triathlon, etc., they'll all be in Orkney, but the basketball we're going to host it there. So here in Anglesey. So that's the small version. In 2027, Anglesea's going to host the
You
whole
get the
thing.
full shebang.
So there's going to be
Wow.
5,000 athletes, all competing in all the different sports. We're just going to take
Oh
over
my
the whole
goodness.
island. It's going to be a
Yeah.
huge, mammoth organizational task to do.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
But as basketball, we'll have already had a practice run in 2025. So
Perfect.
2027 should hopefully be a doddle. But yeah,
Yeah.
we're all go with
You
that.
say
I've got
that.
a good committee of people doing a lot of work trying to get this up and running, and yeah, we're really excited.
I've got to move on to some specifics about what you've been doing, and I wanted to draw a little bit of attention to one of your streams recently. Had a bit of a surge in viewership, and I was just wondering, is there anything you're doing maybe out of the ordinary, or maybe that you hadn't been doing before, to generate more online viewership or attention on social media and things like that?
Um, I think I was saying to you, Dab, just before we came online, it is something that we've been doing for 30 years. We've been playing basketball here. We've been opening up the gyms. We've been letting over these 30 years, there's thousands and thousands of kids that have played basketball that are now
Yeah,
adults. Their kids are playing basketball, but maybe it's just the area that we're in, and we don't blow our own trumpet. But we never, it just just usually just casually get on with the way we do it. But with the way the world is now, and the fact that we're playing for Basketball Wales National League, we have to live stream. So I
yes,
made that effort and uncomfortably do a little bit more, promote, etc. And something I need to do
yeah,
more, and I think I will. But it just showed the first one we put on there on Facebook Live. People must have been looking through, going, oh look, Hollyhead have got a basketball game on going on here. We'll watch that. And we had 2,600 people watch the game. 40,000 people. What's the word? It reached 40,000 people. So, that's it. Just
that's
shows that.
unbelievable in a town of 15,000.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So and then just across the river, the Menai Straits there, and when you get into the next county along, you've got Carnarvon. Carnarvon got a thriving
Yeah.
basketball club there now too. They've got probably well over 100 members, I'd imagine, like we have in Ynys Môn Celts. So, and they wanted to look into it as well. They wanted to watch, I'm sure, and
Right.
yeah. So it's we do a summer league here. So in the winter we don't have a league. We play in the North Wales League or decide to play in the National League, and then in the summer all the men's players come and join a summer league, and we have 60, 80 players, all just coming in to
Wow.
compete. They dust off their shoes from the winter, and yeah, we play in a great banger summer league, and that's it's going
Oh,
really
that's
well.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, sounds awesome. But so you haven't, you haven't got some big marketing strategy that has led to this. You've just been plugging away at this for time and time again, and then once you started streaming, it's reached more people than maybe we expected.
Yeah, I mean, I was a bit shocked myself. I mean, I'm definitely not the market expert. I find it, I'm probably a little bit too old for being a natural thing to just post things. I forget to take photos, I forget to film stuff. I tell you, we had
That's not an age thing. That's a person thing. I'm the same way. I'm the
yeah,
same way.
we were really good at it. We were really good at it for a few years. When Tony
Right.
when Tony left, retired, I set the club back up after a couple of years of not being around, and I asked Jamie Thomas, a friend of mine, to help with the coaching. And Jamie is unbelievable at the social media side and the marketing side. So much so that he then got a job as the within GB Basketball as I forget his
Wow.
official title, but the sort of director of communication. I think it might be in his role.
No,
And then
wow. No
now
way.
he does it for the BBL. So we've got a great guy that lives
Crikey.
just up the road from the club. Who did
Right.
it,
And he knows his way around.
yeah, he used the club he set it up and probably used that as a bit of a portfolio, and it showed how it could be done in the BBL and for GB. And I think they love him over there. Unfortunately, when he got those roles, he couldn't carry on with us. Although I often ask him to help me out and he can give me a few tips, etc. But
I'm about to say
he's going to be heavily involved in the Island Games, which is brilliant, and he'll be doing a lot of the social media and promoting and creating an interest. But that the views and the reaches that you saw on that Facebook page was just me putting a camera in a corner with a tripod, asking Jamie 2 minutes before which way do I angle the camera? Do I turn it this way or do I turn it that way? And pressed live and went down and coached and came back, and we had all these guys, 2,600 people watch the game. So
wow.
There's interest there without a doubt. We just need to keep riding this wave of interest. As you know, Dav, basketball now is after the school sports survey, second most popular team sport among children in Wales. Only football is more popular in Wales.
It's just bonkers, isn't it? I never ever thought that would be the case.
More than rugby, netball, hockey, golf. Well, golf's not a team sport, but it's it's there. It's proven fact. That they've asked all the kids in Wales. That's the sport that they want to do. But the thing that really stands out for me, Dav, is it's the most in-demand sport. So that means they want to play it, but very often
we need to supply.
Yeah, we need to supply it. We need more coaches. We need more clubs. We need to educate the P staff, because I mean, obviously, I've been around schools for 20 years, and kids always want to play. And you know what? P teachers are absolutely brilliant. They try so hard to allow that to happen, but they're also trying to coach football, cricket, rugby, the GCSE marking, everything else. So it's so hard to fit it all in. And somehow, the vast majority of times, these teachers and these schools do it, but they're not always basketball specialists. Some are, but they're most times they're not, and they could really just do with.
They know how to do a layup, and that's as far as they can take you, really.
Yeah, sometimes they can do a layup. Sometimes they don't. They don't know how to do that because
sometimes they can't
played as a kid themselves. They might not have.
Gotcha.
They're professional people. They'll learn to do it. But if you've never played yourself and never had a real quality background, you might not show them how to do a left-hand layup. You might teach them and give them bad techniques which stay into their
bad habits.
Bad habits. All these sort of things. Whereas if there's just now, if there's that little bit more support, maybe from Sports Wales, etc., for funding, etc., and you can get more workshops, more coaching qualifications, more opportunities to teach parents. Sixth formers.
We're trying to push that kind of stuff more and more and more and more and more.
100%. I mean, I did a level 1 basketball qualification the other day with some of my sixth form
students. Right.
We had 43 of
them way.
Made level 1 in November.
That's fantastic.
So I mean, it's there. People want to do it. They just sometimes basketball teams need to grow slowly, organically, but we need more education in there. I'd say. And as soon as you educate the coaches and the sixth formers and the assistant coaches, the parents, then suddenly the players get better. Then there's suddenly more scope of getting more teams, and everything.
Yeah.
But we do need to catch up. Yeah.
What do you think has led to this rise in interest in basketball? I mean, I often point towards social media. So, for example, the NBA is the number one form of digital content on Instagram. Think about all the things: food, puppies, cats, music, everything. The NBA is the number one form. So, I can't really argue with that. So do you think it's as simple as that? Social media came in 2008, and there's like 2 generations of kids who've just grown up seeing LeBron's highlights.
Yeah, and Steph Curry's, and then everyone else's.
Of course. But
I'm
I'm just simplifying.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the way I mean, I had these amazing experiences, as I said at the start.
Yeah,
With
but I think that's an
players.
anomaly.
Yeah, yeah. I think you're absolutely right. It is.
Mm,
But the way I could watch the NBA, it was
mm.
literally I used to buy a video, a video cassette, and I used to
Wow,
watch
yeah.
the Michael Jordan's "Come Fly with Me" highlights, and they were like 2 years old. They were 2 years old, and I was like, "Oh,
Okay.
right, so 2 years ago, Chicago Bulls won the NBA championship,"
Oh
that
my
sort of thing.
gosh.
And then I would
Wow, I'd
have
never
to,
thought that.
yeah, then suddenly Sky did get the NBA, but it was very, very few games. I think
Mm,
Channel 4 might have had it when I was younger as well, but there was no
mm.
like Sky Record, etc., etc. I had to get my
No,
tape
of course.
player. I had to one Christmas. I asked for a tape recorder, so that took 1 year. So I had a tape recorder, and then I
Wow.
could put a timer on. For like
Mm.
1:30 in the morning. It's going on Channel 4. It's going to record, and then it would record a game, and then I would be able to watch that,
That's
and then I would have
crazy.
to. So I'd to watch the Chicago Bulls play in the NBA Finals. That's what I did. I remember, watching all their games on
Mm.
tape delay, literally on a tape. The next
Literally
day,
tape
I was
delay.
I was always a day behind, but I'd record it and then go to school, and then as soon as I finished
Mm.
school, I'd come upstairs and rewind the tape and watch. I watched like Jordan's flu game
Unbelievable.
and all that. But if I wasn't
Wow.
doing that, then it was
Mm.
teletext. I was watching the games go through on teletext, and it was
Oh
find it,
my
and go, oh
goodness.
yeah, the Orlando
Yeah.
Magic have just won another game. Blah blah. There was no internet. There was no phones. Well, as far as
Yeah, of
I knew, there
course.
was no internet, and
Right.
so yeah, that's literally you. It was so surreal. You buy a magazine and you'd read it like that. So because there wasn't the TV coverage, and it's so hard to have TV coverage when you're
Mm.
there's such a time lapse. But it happens in Spain and Europe, and they seem to to get on with it.
Yeah, it's true.
There's always the Sunday games which are on at an earlier time. But yeah,
I get on with it by just sticking through it, and it's caused me to have permanent bags, no matter how well I sleep. I'm just
yeah.
up until 5 in the morning, 4 nights a week, and I can't. My life can't go on like this.
And what do you do? Do you watch it on the phone, or do you watch it on Sky?
I know, so I get League Pass,
Yeah,
which
League Pass. Yeah, yeah,
which is great. It's fantastic, and I was saying with Kaz, who I did my last podcast with. I'm not sure if you know, she's a commentator up in Manchester, but the great thing about League Pass is you're not just getting the nationally televised games, so you get to see all the local broadcasts, which means you get to hear all the local broadcasters, and you get to see the different way that they just completely throw out any kind of journalistic integrity or anything like that, and it's all Charlotte are the best, Boston
yeah,
are the best, and it's all the same on every single one.
yeah,
For me, it just adds a little bit of something. But yeah, League Pass is fantastic because you can watch the whole game, or you can watch all the possessions without all the cuts. So it's exactly 48 minutes. It's
yeah,
fantastic, and then you can watch 10 minutes, 5 minutes, or you can just watch home team, just watch away. It's ideal. It's
yeah.
ideal.
Yeah, I must admit, I've had many years. I've had the League Pass. I'm not decided
Mm.
against it this year. Probably
Oh
because, as
right.
you said, the bags under your eyes.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh my God, I'm
and then
suffering.
yeah, but yeah, it is a fantastic tool. And as you said, I mean, what
Mm.
the kids have realised now is they can flick on their social media and they see all these highlights. And then
Yeah.
some get wise to being able to watch the 5 minute free highlights of every single game on NBA
Hmm.
on the NBA app. Um,
Yeah.
and so it's just so easy to watch, and it's such an exciting game.
Hmm.
And like I said, they just the kids want to play and want to get
Of
good. They
course.
just they just need the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think what we sometimes we get into the idea here in Wales that we're such a small
Mm.
nation that we can't get good at a sport. I mean, we've got 3 million people
Right.
in live in Wales.
Yeah.
I'll just put it into perspective. I think Slovenia, who were the top 10 in the world,
Mm.
Luka Doncic,
Unbelievable
maybe
basketball nation. Yeah.
2 million in the country.
Mm.
I went
That
to
it's a culture thing there, though,
yeah,
isn't it?
it's a culture thing, and if you get it right, then the standard will improve so quick. I mean, let
Mm.
me put it. I've told this story quite a few times up here to parents and players. But when I went
Mm.
over
Please.
to Brussels with Basketball Wales, Gavin asked me to go over to Brussels one year to the FIBA convention, with
Okay.
all the other European nations. So I'm sat around this round table with the representative of Croatia one side of me, the
Mm.
representative of Serbia and Slovenia around the table, and the chap from Croatia is not too much similar to Wales either. I think it's slightly bigger than Wales
No, no, no.
population-wise, but they're small countries, And he said to me, he said, "How many hours a week do your players?" Talking about the whole of Wales now, I'm having to really sort of
Mm.
give an average. Every club's different, but how many hours a week will
Mm.
your players play or train? He said train, and I went, oh, okay. And that's why
Mm.
I said, well, hang on, every club's a little bit different, but I would say somewhere between 2 and 4 hours a week. And he looked at me and went,
Yeah.
he went, and I thought he was going to laugh or shout at me
Mm.
or something. And he went, well, that's not too bad. And I went, oh. And he went, we only train 3 hours. And then he went, oh, my English is bad. I meant a day, we train
Yeah.
3 hours a day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he then stopped for another 20 seconds, and then he
That
turned
makes
to
more
me and
sense.
said, no, he said, you cannot train 2 or 4 hours a week. He said, that is very,
Mm.
very bad. He's like,
Yeah.
how can you develop as a country? How can you play at a high level when you are only training 2 or 4 hours a week? And some clubs are doing
Mm-hmm.
a lot less than that,
An awful lot less than that. I was going to
Yeah,
say.
yeah. And I was trying to big us up really. And he
Mm.
said, you are not competing in basketball. You are playing basketball. You are playing for fun.
Wow, what a
And
quote.
I went, yeah, I agree. So
Wow, what a
that
quote.
that is what we have to do.
Mm.
If we want to be Slovenia, if we want to be Croatia, if we want to be anything
It
like
just
that,
feels untouchable.
yeah, they're training 3 hours a day. He said we train 3 hours a day. We do 1.5 hours in the morning, then they go to school, and then they do 1.5 hours after school. So all the clubs seem to be attached to a school. They're playing
Mm.
an academy style basketball, and then they're
Mm-hmm.
going from there. He said, and then after that, we then play on the games on the weekend. So they're playing 3 hours,
Mm.
5 days a week, and then games on the weekend. So
Yeah.
that is, and it's really regimented. The skills, the way they train. There's a lot more to
Mm-hmm.
it than just putting the hours in. But if you don't
Of
put the
course.
hours in, you just there's no hope to be that standard as a nation. And that's where
Mm.
I've been pushing very much so with my work and my time in school, with my role here in LLS, which is a sixth form sports science course. We're setting up a basketball academy this year, so we've already set one
Oh,
up.
wow, fantastic.
Yeah, we've been building on it slowly. It's not been
Mm.
promoted. It's just anyone that plays basketball in the area, and I love sports science and want to do something education wise, they come to my course, and then we train
Mm.
in the mornings. It's for about 45 minutes. Then they go to school. They get a lunchtime. They can play, and then after school, after the course finishes, we
Wowza.
train again. So we're trying to
Mm.
build on it. They're probably getting about 5 to 6 hours at the moment. And then
Mm.
next year we want to build that up again. We want to get 6 to 8 hours a week of basketball as a part of their school day,
Mm.
and
Of
then what
course,
they
it's
do is
curriculum. Yeah.
yeah. So then the students then go back off to their clubs, because they don't just come to the Ynys Môn Celts. They're from
No, of course they
the
have.
whole area, and then they play their games in the
Mm.
evenings and training for the Wales team, or maybe Cheshire
Mm.
Phoenix, etc. on the weekends. But then
Yeah.
suddenly they've got the hours and the commitment that it would take to hit what you need to be an expert.
Absolutely.
You need 10,000 hours
Mm-hmm.
as the old rule of thumb to get to be an expert.
Yeah, I think it's probably closer to around 100,000 hours, to
Yeah,
be an
yeah,
amazing basketball player. But yeah,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
that is what they say, isn't it? But it's
absolutely.
interesting. It seems that lots of nations have this issue because I was listening to it was the Bill Simmons podcast, and he was talking to Doc Rivers about the difficulties they find in NCAA things and how they think that it's almost breeding the wrong type of person to come to the NBA, and why Europeans are kind of dominating in the NBA at the moment.
Mm.
And he said that he spoke to a head coach from Serbia, and Doc Rivers, this is now. Doc Rivers spoke to a head coach in Serbia, and they were asking this exact, it was very, very similar conversation. But the thing was, how many days do you train and how many days do you play? And Doc Rivers, his son, Austin Rivers, he was talking about him at this time. And he says, well, Austin Rivers, he plays 6 games a week and he trains 1 day a week. And the Serbian coach said, it's literally the opposite here in Serbia. We train 6 days a week intensively. We play 1 game a week, and we play for 30 weeks of the year. And then we just train every week. And it's just the difference. Even US, which has got this incredibly high caliber, is now actually facing difficulties because even they get this wrong. So it's easy to do wrong. We just need to make sure that whilst we're on this stage of growth and development of the sport here in Wales, that we set up those right foundations for our players.
100%, absolutely. Yeah, I think that is absolutely right. I mean, the big men that play in the NBA now from Europe or around the world outside of America are just
they rule it.
Yeah, I mean, they're so good. I mean, if you track back for the MVPs in the league that come by, I mean, America now.
The past 5.
Yeah, and you go. I mean, they've had to naturalize Joel Embiid for the Olympics coming in. Paris in
it's crazy.
Next summer. So they're desperate. They're like, we can't stop Jokic. You know, we can't stop Giannis.
Of course you can't.
We're gonna have to find someone, and they've done they naturalized someone. You know, they begged Joel Embiid to turn American. You know, so it's it's. I mean, they're going to
crazy.
They're going to be a frightening team, USA. I love I like the NBA. I do. I watch a lot of it, but I love watching international game basketball. I love the Olympics. I love the World
There's
Cups.
something about FIBA and the Olympics, isn't it?
I've been down to see the USA play a few times in Vegas and
really?
in London 2012, and so I love the way the Americans have to adjust to the European rules or the FIBA rules. And,
they never seem to get it. They never seem to get it. They complain about the ball.
Yeah, I mean, well, 1 year I remember Klay Thompson playing with a ball that looked really quite odd. I think that was maybe 2016, maybe in the Rio one.
Okay,
you're right though. When you talked earlier about the Redeem team, that's what the team that I watched a couple of times in Vegas.
Wow.
Kobe playing and
my goodness, how lucky you are.
Yeah, I mean, well, that team there, you know. So if you watch that documentary and you see them in the training camps and the Pan America Games in 2007, that I was there. I'm watching them train and play, and then you know, it's LeBron James and Kobe and Jason Kidd and all those guys. So they all try to adjust. But Kobe's he was just MVP in the league. I think they just lost in the finals, maybe to Boston that summer.
Yeah,
and he came into the team and he said, "I don't want to score." And he was,
I want to play defense.
I just want to play defense. And literally, I watched him play against the U.S. Virgin Islands, and he just marked their point guard.
Okay.
And he just was just toe to toe, up and down the court, full court pressing the boy. And the guy was like keeping hold of the ball somehow. And then, because he must have been a good player, I didn't know who he was, but he was keeping the ball somehow under pressure, a little bit out of control. And then he would throw it, get intercepted, and it would be down the break, or, you know, with an alley from LeBron James or whatever else. You know, we had a young Dwight Howard, a young Carmelo Anthony,
D Wade, Melo,
Melo, very, very good.
Gilbert Arenas, I think, as well.
I think the 2007. I can't remember Arenas in there. I remember Mike.
Maybe I'm wrong.
He might have been in 2008 actually in Beijing. But they had players like Mike Redd, you know, some good shooters. They had Chris Bosh.
Oh, Mike Redd was my favourite.
They just had a good team, and that's what I think Coach K did differently to the NBA coaches that were there when they were struggling. is he built a team, and he built a team with shooters and understood the
Not
zone. Yeah,
superstar.
yeah, that all needed the ball in
Yes.
their hands. So he did share. He made it more of a balanced team, and then they had just a great coaching staff. I
Yeah.
mean, they had Jim Boeheim sitting there on the bench, zone master,
Yeah.
and they were just a good. They were just a good.
I'm assuming you've watched the documentary then on
The
Netflix, The Redeem Team.
the Redeem Team, yeah, I've watched that a few times.
Yeah.
Good.
A few times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you a fan of this kind of like sports doc era we're in right now?
Oh, I love a sports documentary. Yeah, absolutely. I can watch them all day.
I mean,
I love.
it seems
I love.
like there's hundreds of them.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched all of them, but I've watched a lot. To be honest, I love the fly on the wall when you hear the coaches talking, and it doesn't matter which sport you're in. I just love hearing.
You always learn something.
Coach, yeah, and the way that they build a culture. How they build them into we. The way that it's them or them players or
Right.
we as a team. We can build everyone together, and I try and take on as much as I can with the way coaches with talk. So yeah, I do like the fly on the wall documentaries. They're really good. Yeah.
I have a slight issue with them at the moment.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, I'm Coach K is an absolute legend in his own right, and I don't think Duke will ever recover from him leaving. But no, the sports doc thing. So like, I love a sports documentary. I made one myself this summer. Like, I really really love them. I really worry that it's starting to become a PR machine. So like, I don't know. So the Stephen Curry one, I've told an awful lot of people to watch the Stephen Curry one on Apple TV, and I think it's important to watch it just to understand that there's a difference between a documentary that was made by someone on a subject, but that was Steph Curry's documentary. He's the executive producer on that. And so it's all picked and torn apart and shaped and molded. And it's called Underrated. Like, nobody believed in me, but he was the 7th pick in the NBA draft. Like, he's pretty highly rated. But I do worry that there's this thing now where athletes are telling their own stories more and more and more. They've got player podcasts and stuff, which I think on the most part is a positive thing. But I do worry about sports docs in that we're kind of reshaping history to suit the player who the actual documentary is meant to be uncovering things about.
It's nice when the documentary doesn't know the outcome, and you're just following it over the year.
Yes, yeah. Series rather than a film. Yeah.
So it just goes along throughout the year, like the Last Chance U's that are on Netflix. I've seen the basketball ones; they're really good. No one knows what the outcome's going to be. It's not talking back in time. It's just in the present, and they do the documentary, and it's someone who's just doing it as a part of their career, or they're just doing it as a bit of an interest and building on, and I mean, you can learn so much from somewhere like Last Chance U with the coach there.
Yeah.
And you can learn just as much as you can from watching that as the Redeem Team documentary. Or, so absolutely, it's the ones that you don't know the answer to at the end is the ones that are...
Yeah, I'd agree. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I think that's absolutely spot on. Well, Sean, I'm seeing the time go by, and I don't want to keep you for your entire evening, but I really, really, really want to thank you ever so much for coming on and talking with us. It sounds like you're doing just absolute God's work up in Hollyhead. It sounds like you've been directly nurturing the entire kind of talent pool of the area. But I'm really, really glad that people are really tuning into what you're doing. And honestly, I really hope that we get to see the Ynys Môn Celts in the finals of BWNL this year, even though that might mean that I won't get to have you sat next to me for the actual commentary. But really, I really, really am grateful for you coming on and having this chat and spreading the word with me here about basketball here in Wales. Honestly, it means an awful lot.
Thanks, Dav. That was great. Loved chatting with you anytime. It'd be great to get you up here for 2025 for these Island Games. Really want you up here, and the rest
you
of
got my number.
Basketball Wales organisation. Really, we need refs, we need table officials, we need social media, we need everyone really to to help out. And when all these athletes from around the world come to Anglesey, we want to put on a show. So we'll keep in touch. It'll be fantastic. Yeah.
Fantastic. I'll make sure that I get everyone I can there. Everyone with a camera will be up for the Island Games. Honestly, thank you, Sean. And there we go. That's been the end of this podcast. We will be back very soon with another exciting guest, another exciting topic. And I'll see you there. Thank you very much. And goodbye.
Thanks, Dad. Cheers, guys.